In a small town lived an old cobbler named Karim. Every day, he repaired worn-out shoes for people, but his own life was filled with poverty. He had a habit that nobody understood. Every evening before closing his shop, he would place a small portion of his earnings into an old wooden box. People often asked him, "Mr. Karim, you're already struggling to make ends meet. Why do you keep saving money in that box?" Karim would simply smile and reply, "One day, it will help someone who truly needs it." Years passed. One freezing winter night, a 10-year-old orphan boy stood outside Karim's shop, shivering in the cold. His clothes were torn, and he had no shoes on his feet. Seeing the boy, Karim immediately invited him inside. He gave him a warm cup of tea and spent hours making a pair of sturdy shoes with his own hands. The boy looked at him with tears in his eyes and asked, "Sir, you don't even know me. Why are you being so kind?" Karim smiled and said, "Son, kindness doesn't need a reason." Those words stayed in the boy's heart forever. Years went by. The little orphan grew up and left the town. Nobody knew where he had gone. Meanwhile, Karim became older and weaker. Eventually, he fell seriously ill. The townspeople cared about him, but no one had enough money to pay for the treatment he desperately needed. One afternoon, a luxurious black SUV arrived in town. A well-dressed businessman stepped out and rushed straight to Karim's bedside. To everyone's surprise, the man knelt down, held Karim's hands, and began to cry. The room fell silent. "Do you recognize me?" the man asked. Karim looked closely and shook his head. The businessman smiled through his tears. "I'm the little orphan boy you helped on that freezing winter night." Everyone in the room was stunned. The man continued, "That night, I had lost all hope. I felt invisible and forgotten. But your kindness gave me the strength to keep going. Today, I own a successful company, and everything I am started with the compassion you showed me." He immediately arranged the best medical care for Karim and covered every expense. Within weeks, Karim's condition improved. The businessman also renovated Karim's old shop, turning it into a beautiful workshop for future generations of cobblers. One day, while organizing Karim's belongings, they opened the old wooden box that had sat in the corner of the shop for decades. Inside was a handwritten note. It read, "If I am no longer here, use this money to help a child who feels alone in the world." As the words were read aloud, tears filled everyone's eyes. The businessman stood before the townspeople and made a promise. "Today, we will establish a foundation in Karim's name to support orphaned and struggling children." The entire town erupted in applause. Karim smiled warmly and said, "Money may disappear, but a single act of kindness can live on for generations." Moral of the story: never underestimate a small act of kindness. What seems like a simple gesture today may completely transform someone's